Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And let's say hello to a few of our dear friends this morning. And always great to have you on with us. We more than appreciate it. More than appreciate it. Okay, who's number one? Lori Lee, Ventura, California. We're way out west. Brahim, how is you? And Niagara Falls, that would have been, see, I can't see it. Kevin, I see you. Mary, who was that in Niagara Falls now? Hi, Sue, Manitoulin, Jeanette. And if I take that white away, let's just see. Carrie, Nebraska. Andrea, Nouveau Brunswick. Dorita, good morning. Francis Marie. John, how are you? And Gina, good morning to you. And Sandra, or Micheline, Annette. I said Sandra, but it might have been Nick from our staff. Dr. Bennett's on with us this morning. Good morning, Troy. How are you? And Halifax. And Shirley in Newfoundland. And Judy, good morning. Thank you for the kind words about the book. Sandy, and two Sandys in a row. Carol, Mara, Windsor, and Wendy, good morning. How are you? From Markham, Deb Timmons, and Veronica. We appreciate you guys. Chantal, Ottawa. And Faye, how is you? And who was I? Catherine? Yes, Catherine. Cecilia, good morning. And Leela. Couple more, guys. You see, went up. I can't see it. Darlene, how are you? Rachel, Saskatchewan. Linda. Oh, we love those Lindas. And Myra from Ottawa, Sylvia, Mississippi, Maria, good morning. Eric, Thailand, holy moly. And Regina, good morning. Yeah, you're enjoying your coffee. Heather, Maramisha, Darlene, good morning. And Monette, nice to have you guys on. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Rhonda, help me, Rhonda. Help. Karen from Lighthouse Cove. Brenda, Campbell River. Bobby, good morning. I hate to miss any of you. Sandy, Irene, good night. Denise, I'm not supposed to be singing, but I'm singing. Kathy, Debbie, Rice Lake. Okay, guys. Did you see what I posted this morning? I posted earlier this morning on the private Facebook group just about the increases in all these disorders here. Let me see if I can find it on our Facebook. Let me just see here. When was this posted? This would have been earlier this morning, right? Okay, let me see. I'm going to get to our Martin Clinic Club. But I posted something this morning, and I want to just see if I can find it. Gee. Okay, but anyway, while I'm looking, I'm just talking to you about all these things that's gone up, like from diabetes, autoimmune, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, sleep apnea. If you guys saw it, tell me some other things that it just, what in the heck happened to our world, our society? Why is here we are in 2023, why are things worse, not better? Why is that? You would think we would have eradicated disease. And, some infections, like polio or whatever, we pretty well eradicated. But if you look at chronic disease, like Tony often says, Tony Jr., inflammation, Dad, without infection, they've all gone up. From mental health, depression, and I talked to you even last week about metabolic syndrome involved in depression and leaky gut. And let me just, and you guys can look for that. The hot mess in the brain. Remember we did that last week. And we talked about the brain being on fire and the brain having no energy. Like you're surrounded, it's like you're in the ocean, you're surrounded by water, but you can't drink it. That's what happens to your brain on sugar. It's surrounded by energy, but it can't use it properly because it's not the right energy. It's not the right food. Okay? We talked about that. But here we are today in 2023. And let me just do this, okay? Because if you guys, and you know me well, if you've followed me for years, and many of you have, and we sure appreciate that, you know that I'm a why guy, okay? So if fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, sleep apnea, you name it, autoimmune. I read an article yesterday on the increase in Parkinson's. It's like out of this world increase in Parkinson's. What do I call Parkinson's? I call it an autoimmune disorder because it's the body turning on itself. And we see MS. We see a huge increase in these kind of disorders. Why? I'm a why guy. Why did that happen? Okay? Because how can you treat it properly without thinking about why? And you know what, guys? That's the difference between, traditional medicine and, if you Google these things, okay? Google diabetes. Just Google type 2 diabetes. Can I tell you, they won't even talk about food. They don't answer the why. Medicine, it's almost traditional medicine. Why is there so much diabetes? It's gone up 300%. Why? Why is cancer? We've had a war on cancer since President Nixon in the 1970s. I remember the day he declared it. I do. Being in the healthcare field in the 1970s, and President Nixon was the president of the United States, he said, "We're declaring war on cancer." Well, it sounded good. And they did the one right thing. They declared war on the tobacco companies. Did that help? Yep, it did. For a bit. And then the new tobacco took over. Sugar. Honey. Sugar, honey. That's what took over. And then cancer rates today are through the roof. And treatment is never based on prevention. So when you emphasize treatment of a disease, and I'm not against treatment of a disease, I'm not. But if you don't answer the why, you're going to be looking for love in all the wrong places. I.e., Example, heart disease. They tried to answer the why. They did. Okay? Like I said, in cancer, why are we getting cancer? Smoking. Okay. It certainly was a factor. And now we have new smoking, sugar, and these seed oils. Processed crappy carbs. Okay? So, but today, okay, heart disease, they had a why. Okay? But hey, you don't want to be wrong on the why. So the why in traditional medicine was cholesterol. What causes heart disease? Cholesterol. And I bring you back, I call him a serial killer, okay? And I don't mean cereal like breakfast cereal. I mean with an S. A mass killer. In my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, I give you history, okay? I give you history of serial killers. What did I mean by that? Is people that influenced medicine and brought them in the wrong direction. One of them was Ansel Keys. Ansel Keys, I consider him, he's dead, gone, but he was a serial killer because he emphasized, told the world, was even put on the front cover. You remember when magazines were big? When I was a kid, and even after, the magazines were huge, right? Like Time magazine and Life magazine, and you name the magazine. They used to be big. Remember, people used to read magazines. Now you get everything pretty well online. They've gone by the magazines have gone by the way of Blockbuster, right? And some of them are still alive because of social media, and they use that platform, and but who wants to pay for that when you can get most information for free? Anywho, on the Time front cover of Time magazine was a fellow by the name of Ansel Keys, and even before 1965, he was day in, day out, and let me give you something so you can relate to what I'm saying. Put your hand up if you know who Dr. Fauci is. Put your hand up, okay? You know who Dr. Fauci is. He became famous, right? During the pandemic. He was the go-to doctor, right? Whatever Dr. Fauci said, pretty well went. True or false? Yeah, it's true. And the media loved him, okay? Well, let me bring you back to the 1960s. And the media darling was Dr. Ansel Keys. He was the spokesperson for heart disease. When you wanted to get anybody interviewed about heart disease, you went to a pathologist, not a cardiologist, but a pathologist, and his name was Dr. Ansel Keys. What did he do? Well, when President Eisenhower had a heart attack, he said, I know why. I know why. President Eisenhower is eating too much butter, too much meat, too many eggs, too much cheese. And President Eisenhower had a heart attack on the golf course, and he dropped in the sand trap. true story. Because he had cholesterol, and that's why he had a heart attack. And Dr. Keyes, from that day, he was interviewed. All the major networks, CBS, ABC, NBC in those days, you know, they didn't have CNN or Fox News or any of those things, but they had those three main ones, and the magazines and the newspapers. He had a media presence. And you know what he said? Cholesterol is the cause of heart disease. And you and I, my friend, you and I, again, here we are in 2023, and 99.9% of the population and the media and medicine believe that today still is true. They got the why wrong. They got the why wrong. It was wrong from the beginning. First of all, President Eisenhower was smoking 4 packs of Camel cigarettes a day. That didn't come out in the media. And even in the 1960s, when Ancel Keys became a superstar on media of the day, cholesterol trumped cigarettes. Not that they didn't say cigarettes can be a factor in heart disease. You know what they said cigarettes do? It increases your cholesterol. See, cholesterol had to be the bad guy. Cholesterol had to be the bad guy. And from that day, in 1955 and then thenceforth, the media made Dr. Keyes a superstar. And he went to his grave. He went to his grave as a superstar, and he never reneged. He never, even though he was challenged, even though he was, his theory really was, you know, they shot a lot of holes in it. It became like Swiss cheese. But it didn't matter because the narrative was set. And medicine, you and I know this, medicine developed medication to become the #1 med in the history of medicine. Statin drugs to lower cholesterol became the #1 all-time superstar of medications based on a faulty premise. I bring you back a little bit because where did Dr. Keyes, a pathologist, researcher, get his theory? Autopsy. He saw cholesterol in plaque. Well, I was just a kid when he saw that, okay? But if he would have asked me, even in as early as the 1970s, I'd have said, well, in biochemistry, cholesterol is, of course, it's in the bloodstream. Of course, it's found at the site of plaque. Of course it is. But it's not a bad guy. It's like you find police at a crime scene. Okay, there's police at a crime scene. Of course there's police at a crime scene. They're not the bad guy. Why would the fire department be at a fire? Why are firemen at the fire? Are they the bad guys at the fire? No. They're there to help out. But you see, if you miss that, and you get, guys, you try and try, I try to get people to change their mind. What can you do? What can you do? Again, that comes back to my modus operandi. Why do I operate the way I operate? Is because I'm after you, to get you to think, to give you information so that you can, I like to bring, excuse me, I like to bring people behind the scenes and show them why we have so much disease, why things aren't better when it comes to treating chronic disease. They're not better. It's worse than ever. Statistics are showing us. We're getting hammered. If this was a game, a sports game, we're getting hammered by the opposition team. And that is chronic disease. We're losing the battle. And listen, I am after individuals like you. I want to change your mind. I want you, I'm big into, you know what I'm big into? Self-care. Healthcare, meh. Not today's healthcare. Not for the last 50 years healthcare. I'm not into that because it's disease care. It's not healthcare. I'm into self-care. Take care of yourself. Look, guys, it's not the be-all and end-all. I understand that. I'm not saying there's no place for medicine. I'm not saying that. You get hit by a bus, don't call me. You can call me, I'll pray for you, okay? I promise. But I'm into self-care. Take care of yourself. Make the right choices. I want to bring you behind the scenes to see why we're in the place that we're in 2023. I really go into detail about that in the book. Okay? I go into detail about it because it's a story that needs to be told. Why are we here today? And heck, could you just... Would somebody... hold on, I'm going to go on our Facebook. And would somebody repost what I posted because I can't find it. And that's so typical for me. Hold on, Martin Clinic Club. Okay, let's go. And groups. Where am I here? I can't find it, guys. Repost it, all those disease. I posted it this morning. Jeepers creepers. Okay, everybody's got their post here, but I can't find mine. I can't find it. I'm just looking because I wanted to see it one more time. Somebody repost it if you can. There we go. Let me look at it again. Nick, did you repost it? No, I don't see it. Okay. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Thank you. Marine reposted it. What has changed in the last 30 years? Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. I'm technically challenged. Oh, I'm the first one to admit it. I think, was it you, Maureen, that said you can make this thing not be upside down or backwards or whatever someone said? Well, go for it. I don't know how to do it. I am technically challenged. But what has changed in the last 30 years? ADHD up 819%. Alzheimer's up 300%. Autism up 2,000%. Bipolar 10,000%. Celiac up celiac is up. Chronic fatigue syndrome 11,000%. Holy crap. Diabetes 300%. Depression, 300%, just about. Fibromyalgia, 7,000%. Hypothyroidism. Why do I talk about hormones all the time? Why? Hypothyroidism is up 700% in the last 30 years. Guys, none of this surprises me. Remember, I was in practice. I watched it happen. I watched it happen. Everything going like this. Up, 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 up. And some infectious disease like polio, went down. Okay. But we have a narrative, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's hard to get it. And again, at the Martin Clinic, here's us, okay? Here's us. Tony Jr. is smart like his mother, okay? Not like his father, like his mother, okay? Very smart, okay? And him and I have jam sessions all the time. We discuss all this. Okay? And we talk about it. And we go, and Tony Jr. he's more of a why guy than I am. Dad. And he's that genius comes out. Dad, look at this. And at the Martin Clinic, we talked about 3 major factors in all chronic disease. And you guys hear about this all the time. All the time. Okay? Numero uno. High circulating insulin. High circulating insulin, or insulin resistance. Metabolic syndrome, 93% of the population. 93 in North America. My word. That's not something to be proud of. And you rarely hear it. Okay? The second one. Guys, these are game changers. If we would only emphasize them. One is food. It's high circulating. Look, you can get insulin resistance. Okay, I'll maybe talk to you about it. New study that came out on, just came out on the weekend that I read from South India. A study done there, peer-reviewed. Excellent. I think I'll do it tomorrow. There's too much to unpack in it. Okay? But here's what we say. 1, food. Why so much chronic disease? Cholesterol. It's not too many eggs. It's not because you're eating meat. Steak. Don't eat steak. Don't eat red meat. Limit your red meat or don't have any at all. And it's bad for you and it gives you cholesterol. Well, if you believe in cholesterol as being at the root of disease, you're going to change your thinking on food, and it's wrong. Colossal failure. Colossal. Heart disease is worse than ever. It's worse than ever. Oh, cut back on the butter. You better eat margarine. Colossal failure. It's not that. Insulin resistance. It's food. We're carboholics. We bought the lie that animal protein and fat is bad. Eat grains, like grains, you need grains. No, you don't. Right? And kids today, they don't have a stinking chance. They're brought up on noodles and cereals and grains. And they're told it's good for what kind of toast you want. Whole wheat? Yeah, that's a better choice. No, it's not. How about rye bread? No. It's going to be sugar in 5 seconds. Dr. Martin, porridge, oatmeal. It's got a heart on the box. Yeah, I know. Continue to eat it. You're going to have a heart attack. Guaranteed. That's why they put the heart on the box. Oh, they didn't? That's why I would put a heart on that box. And with a big X through it, like, don't do that. You've been duped. You think, not you, okay? When I say you, I don't mean you. They think that poop is more important than your heart. What am I saying? Well, if you don't go number 2, you're gonna die. And people think, well, if I don't get my grains, if I don't get my fiber, if I don't get that, I'm gonna die young. So poop is more important than the heart. Like, are you kidding me? I know I sound crazy. 1, high circulating insulin. 2, leaky gut. My, oh my, oh my. What we know about the microbiome today. I've been speaking about the bacteria for 50 years. Good, bad, and ugly. Leaky gut. I used to have doctors. Today, there's enough research that if they read it all, it's, they get it a little bit. But, you have to understand, I had leaky gut. As if you can have any garbage in your blood. You can't have any yeast in your blood. You'll die. Tell Dr. Martin he's a quack. Tell him I said so. You know how many times I said that? I heard that, I mean. Leaky gut. What is that? But it's a huge factor in autoimmune. Huge. It's a huge factor in autism. It's a huge factor in ADHD. It's a huge factor in mental health. It's a huge factor. It's a huge factor in cancer. You combine those two, insulin resistance and autoimmune, and you have a perfect leaky gut, and you have a perfect storm. Guys, my job is to bring that to you on a daily basis. That's my job. I'll tell you, number 1 book, it would be on the New York Times if we had it in stores. That's how fast it's selling. So guys, some people are listening, and if you want to be a little evangelist for health, make the book available. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And these things that come out, and I read about them, and and I go, yeah, we're looking for love in all the wrong places. Isn't that a country song? Okay. Okay, guys. We got a great week, including that South India study. You're going to be interested in it, I guarantee. Very, very fascinating. Excellent. Okay? What is Friday? Question and answer Friday. Okay? So we're back to our regular routine. And guys, if you have any questions, get them in for Friday. If you have blood work, I don't mind looking at it. I mean that. I don't mind looking at it. You can send it in. Get my 2 pennies on it. Okay? My opinion on it. And things that we look for in blood work. Okay? Okay, guys. Thank you very much. We love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.